Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 12 of Opinionated Diva Presents Plenty of Tiff. I'm your girl, Tiffany, aka Opinionated Diva. Can you believe it's been 12 episodes? That means for the past 3 consecutive months, I have been putting in the work to keep this show going, and that is more than I can say for my relationships. Actually, I'm not in a relationship. So there's that. But in any event, let's get started. We're diving straight into the Diva Drop. Oh, have we got some major falls from grace this week? And honestly, the ground must be tired from catching all these people, honey, okay? We'll start with the story that has been making my eyes roll so far back in my head I can see my own thoughts. We are talking about former South Dakota governor and former U.S. Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, and her husband, Brian. At first thought, I thought his name was Byron, and I said, But then I realized his name is Brian with an O. I like a unique name like the next person, but it borders on normal and serial killer. And in this case, a little bit of bimbification in the middle. Now, if you follow this show, you should know and come to understand this one rule. Heed my advice. I said it a few episodes back, Kristi. Anytime somebody create a job for you that doesn't exist, like special envoy to the Shields of America or any rando department Trump comes up with during recess, it's a red flag. It never ends well. It's always a placeholder for a mess. And honey, the Gnome House is a biohazard. Kristi has spent her entire career standing on a pedestal of family values. She spent taxpayer dollars to disgrace undocumented immigrants, talking about sanctity and morals. But while she was at the border pointing fingers, honey, her husband, Brian, was apparently in the basement living a whole other life as Jason Jackson. The Daily Mail dropped all the receipts, y'all. Photos, PayPal logs, messages to fetish models. We're talking bimification gear, pink hot pants, the whole 9 yards. Now, let me be 100% clear. I am a do you kind of woman. I am not here to kink shame. If you want to spend your Tuesday night in a wig and a corset in your basement, that is between you and the higher power you serve, or don't. Harmless kinks are just that, harmless. But here's where the diva drop hits hard. It's the morals of the marriage that are the joke for me. You cannot spend your public life judging how other people live, who they love, or how they identify, while your own husband is using the family gnome insurance voicemail to coordinate his secret fetish life. It's the height of hypocrisy to spend money to protect the state from outsiders while the call is coming from inside your own house. Brian is over here paying for gear while his wife is acting like the moral compass of the Midwest. Kristi, you told America to trust your values, but your values are currently sitting in a PayPal transaction for a latex outfit. This is why they say, watch the people who yell the loudest, especially about traditional and moral values. Usually, they're just trying to drown out the sound of their own secrets rattling in the closet. Brian, if you wanted to be Jason Jackson, you should have just been Jason Jackson. But you don't do it on our dime and our time while your wife is out here voluntarily looking like a damn fool. In more Diva Drop news, Tiger Woods. Speaking of closets and secrets, honey, let's talk about him. Actually, speaking of walk-in closets and open secrets, because Tiger has been giving us a front row seat to his ups, like making history as the youngest golfer to win the Masters, and downs, like his DUI dating all the way back to 2017 and before. Tiger just released a statement that he's entering an inpatient rehab facility 10 years after completing a private program for his addiction to painkillers. And he's going outside of the U.S. for the sake of his privacy. First of all, I'm glad he's seeking help. Addiction is a monster that doesn't care how many green jackets you have in your closet. But we have to have a real conversation about this clownish behavior that he's been doing that led us here. Tiger, honey, we've been here before. 2009, 17, 21, and now 26. After this latest DUI arrest where they found hydrocodone in his pocket, he is still sticking to the story that he won't hire a driver because he values his privacy. This is going to be a crossover with Read the Room because, Tiger, there is nothing private about your SUV wrapped around a tree. There is nothing private about a mugshot that is currently the screensaver for half the sports world right now. The privacy excuse is a shield, but it's actually a weapon also. When you insist on driving yourself while you are clearly not in a state to operate a toaster, honey, let alone a vehicle, you are making a choice that puts everyone else's privacy and life at risk. Now, I'm not trying to clown him too hard. I'm really not, because I do want him to get better. I really do. But we have to stop treating this like a mistake. This is a pattern. And the bigger issue isn't the car. It is what is driving you, no pun intended, to need to be in that state in the first place. Like, what are you running from? What are you trying to numb out in your life? That has to be between you and your counselor or your therapist, but that's what you need to figure out. You are a sports legend, but you are a lucky legend. You're lucky that no one got seriously hurt or worse this time. You're lucky you have the millions to fly out of the country for a private facility while other people are just struggling to get a bed in a local clinic. Go to rehab, Tiger. Do the work. But when you come out, please, for the love of the game and the safety of the streets, think twice before you get behind the wheel again. Your privacy isn't worth a life. And honestly, if King Beyonce and Sean, Jay-Z, Jehovah Carter aren't out here driving themselves around, it can be done. And you, my Cobbler Nation, have the coins. Between the known secret basement lives and Tiger's high-speed hazards, honey, it's been a week of people thinking they are above the consequences. But the internet always finds the receipts, and the road always has a dead end. Or it can always lead to plenty of tiff. Now, for shine, shade, or side-eye, that's my favorite segment, one of them anyway. I have quite a few topics to talk about in this segment, so I'll use this time to do a rapid-fire round of what's making the rumbles around the internet before I get to the main event. First up, we are giving a massive shine to the GOAT herself, Simone Biles. Simone just opened her very first restaurant, Taste of Gold, over at George Bush Intercontinental Airport in Houston, Texas. Now, I love a good mom and pop shop, but I also love to see a woman owning the block, or in this case, the terminal. Most airport food is interchangeable at best and cardboard at worst. But Simone is bringing Simone skewers and gold medal vibes to the gate. This is the blueprint, people, okay? You don't just win the medals, you build the empire. She is following that Shaq and Magic Johnson energy of putting your name on the door and your money in the community. Next time I'm connecting through IAH, you already know where I'm going to be eating. Simone, girl, you get the biggest shine of the week. Keep tasting gold and showing us how it's done. Keeping in line with the airport theme, and this gets a little bit of shine and a little bit of shade from me. Tyler Perry showed up at Hartsfield-Jackson Airport in Atlanta and handed out $250,000 worth of $1,000 gift cards to TSA workers who have been working through this shutdown. Now, on paper, that's beautiful. That's generous. But in reality, it turned into a total mess. So government ethics rules, which I know a little bit about because I used to be in regulatory compliance, even though it was in clinical research, but still. They say federal workers are prohibited from taking cash or big gifts. So the TSA told the workers they had to return the cards. It was a whole back and forth until the legal teams finally cleared it this week. TSA workers were able to keep the money, and they started getting paid again, which was great. Can we finally get back to the friendly skies, please? So Tyler, I love the heart, but I'm gonna need you to hire a consultant who knows the rules. You gave those TSA people $1,000 stress headaches, okay, honey? So a little bit a side eye on that because you made that $250K back before you even got on I-85. We all know that. But I get the sentiment. And when you're helpless, but you have the means to help, I 1000% understand the decision was one that you were willing to accept the consequences for. So that's why I'm going to give you some shine for real. It's giving Medea Goes to Washington with a plot twist and an ultimate happy ending. So shade to the government for not overruling the cash gift in the beginning, considering that you were the reason they're even there. You stressed them out more than Tyler did. And for why? So shine to all of my TSA workers. Your job does not go unnoticed, especially for people like me, the ultimate buddy pass traveler. Now, to round out the rapid fire round, let's talk about this move that has the whole industry looking twice. Sean Diddy Combs, whose sentence has actually just been moved up again, it was shortened by 10 days, has his expedited appeal hearing coming up this month, April 9th. And while the lawyers are doing their legal work, his sons, Justin and Christian, are doing the legacy work. The word is out. They are dropping a docuseries on the Zeus Network this year to tell their side of the story. Now, at first, I gave it a massive side eye because I was like, Zeus, the home of baddies and brawls? But then I had to read the room on myself. This isn't a money grab. Those boys have money. This is a narrative grab. They know if they go to Gail or Oprah, they're getting a deposition just in a more comfortable chair. But on Zeus, they get to speak directly to their core audience. They get to talk to people that are playing Diddy's music. It's a safe space move to humanize their father as he serves this 50-month sentence as of now. And look, no shade to Zeus. In fact, Mr. Plummer, if you're watching, let's make a deal. You've got the drama, you've got the icons, but you need the commentary. You need a woman who can break down the conflict, the culture, and the celebrity in one breath. Plenty of Tiff is ready for the lineup. I'm tagging you, I'm manifesting it, and I'm watching this docuseries with my notebook, ready as I need to be. Is it a masterpiece or a PR stunt? We'll find out on Zeus and audition. Now that I got those highlights out of the way in my rapid fire, I know, and I mean EYE, I know you didn't think I was going to forget to talk about Jaden Ivey, honey. No way. This man is currently crashing out in the most public, messy way possible. For those who missed it, the Chicago Bulls officially waived him this week for conduct detrimental to the team. And instead of taking a beat to reflect, Jaden hopped on IG Live for nearly an hour to air out everybody's business, including Jesus. He's out here claiming the NBA is celebrating unrighteousness by acknowledging Pride Month. And look, I just have to ask, Jaden, why is this your burden? It was a random Tuesday. Why are you having these intense thoughts about LGBTQ plus communities? Are they asking you to wear a pride-themed headband or some socks? Are they asking you to lead a parade? No. You were literally just sitting there thinking about what other people are doing with their lives and for why. It's giving obsessed. But he didn't stop there. He decided to throw Steph Curry in the mix, calling what many consider the greatest shooter in history a fake Christian. He said all those rings aren't going to matter on Judgment Day because Steph doesn't know the real Jesus. Now, wait a minute. You were going to come for the most wholesome man in the league, a man who literally has Philippians 4:13 on his sneakers. Jaden, imagine that you are on a plane right now and you're being told by the flight attendant to put your phone on permanent airplane mode. Steph is at home with his family, winning championships and minding the business that pays him. Why are you so unstable, sir? And to top it off, he admitted on the stream that his own wife isn't picking up his calls. He's out here telling the entire world that his life is in shambles. Why hasn't someone taken this man's phone yet? If your wife is sending you the voicemail while you're ranting about unrighteousness to millions of strangers, that is a sign from the universe to log off. But I find it real ironic that you're worried about the NBA's morals when you can't even maintain peace in your own home. And let's talk about the why behind the what. Is this a genuine religious awakening, or is it a ploy because you knew that you were going to get that full $10 million payout from your contract? It's real easy to speak the truth when you got 8 figures hitting your bank account on the way out the door. And to the dudes who clearly just finished watching that Mansphere documentary on Netflix and think they've got one more chest hair today, save it. No one is trying to silence you. You just want any reason to exist in a space where you can feel superior to anyone who isn't hyper-masculine. But here's the real truth. I'm sure Brian Nome, is in all of their group chats right now. You're all talking about traditional values and manhood while living double lives, tootin' and bootin'. And again, no shade to living your best sex life, but you get what I'm saying. Jaden, your behavior doesn't give you stable, it gives you spiral. And you're using Jesus as a shield for your own prejudice, and it's transparent. I'm gonna need you to go rehab that knee, go talk to your wife, and for the love of all things holy, delete your social media until you go smell some really, really good spring grass. We'll see if another team picks him up, but right now, the only thing he's shooting is himself in the foot. All of the shade to Jaden. Now let's read the room. And this one is actually sad for me to have to even talk about, but here we go. The room is looking a little, well, chilly. Pun fully intended. Now, we all love the TLC we knew then. We grew up on Creep. We lived for No Scrubs. But we have to talk about Chili and the backlash she's receiving after being found out she is full-fledged MAGA. Recently, some FEC, which is a Federal Election Commission, their records came out showing 17, not 1, not 2, but 17 donations to the Trump campaign, and WinRed, which is a nonprofit online fundraising platform used by Republican campaign committees and conservative organizations to process donations. So long story short, this got found out. Chili hopped on IG to say that she didn't read the fine print and thought she was donating to veterans and sex trafficking. Girl, 17 times? That's actually a subscription. It's a recurring deduction that you did. So after not reading the fine print back in the 90s and letting Pebbles take all y'all marbles, bum rushing Clive Davis to force renegotiation of your contract, but now you didn't read the fine print? Okay, girl. TLC and Chile specifically, they have a fan base that spans the rainbow and the globe, but the majority of their fan base are Black women. And I have to just say it because I am one. I must say, when I see an artist like Chile, someone whose career was built on the support of Black women, is putting her coins towards a movement that has spent years amplifying every ist, racist, misogynist, chauvinist, supremacist, you get my point, and beyond, I have a problem. We've had the same president 2 times now who has turned the volume up on all of that BS. This isn't just different opinions anymore. We are talking about basic human rights and safety. People always say, keep politics out of entertainment. And okay, that's cool. And I do understand that. Tell that to the politicians who use us as a punching bag. If your politics involve me having fewer rights, then your entertainment isn't a safe space for me. And look, I'm not naive, okay? Who you vote for is private, and that is your right. I'm sure 100% that this is how Chile has managed to stay under the radar in 2016. But your girl T-Boz made sure that cat clawed its way out of the bag. In any event, I'm sure more celebrities than I want to admit, but low-key want to know, probably don't share my political values. They probably think that my Brooklyn rent is cute. Oh, that's how I lived when I was a struggling artist. But there is a difference between a different tax bracket and a different reality. Supporting MAGA is a choice that directly misaligns with my life. And it's a deal breaker. You know, I'm still going to listen to Red Light Special, honey. Yes. But I'm not going to purposely go to my playlist trying to find it. I don't believe in coincidences. I also don't believe that the FEC has a vendetta out against Rosanda Chili Thomas. But yet the fact remains that TLC is about to go on this iconic tour with Salt and Pepper and In Vogue. And as much as singing Waterfalls, honey, at the top of my lungs would put me back in the carefree days of high school, knowing my ticket money might end up in a campaign chest that's being used to support people who believe in laws and policies that are directly against people who look like me, that's a hard pill I won't even try to swallow. Everyone has a right to free speech. Chile can vote for whoever she wants. But I have a right to my spending. And we cannot ignore this for the sake of a nostalgia tour. That tour is literally going to fund your way to more donations to MAGA and their supporters. So Chile, read the room. Because right now the fans are looking at you like a scrub. And you know how we feel about those. And then we have Cheryl Salt James of Salt and Pepper, who I was for Halloween one year. She jumped into the comments to defend Chile, basically telling us all to pipe down because they've been supporting each other for 30 years and they're sisters and all that good stuff. So nobody can ever get me to not rock push it because that's my jam. Or shake your thing. Or let's talk about sex, just to name a few. I love y'all. But I need you to push yourself right out this conversation, okay? We are talking about a collective sigh and anger at the literal dismantling of rights of people who look just like us, including you. And for those who find themselves in a predicament that they never thought they would be in because they don't look like us. But yet, here we are. The Trump administration said, not so fast. So it isn't just Black women or the Black community that is triggered by this revelation. Sometimes the best way to support your friend is to pull them aside in private and say, sis, you messed up. Here's why the fans are hurt. But publicly, you're just signing up for a stray bullet you didn't have to take. I won't give you a read the room, but I will say read the comments. And leave the PR machine, who is probably in a Zoom meeting right now, trying to salvage your tour, to the professionals. That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the show. Feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Opinionated Diva and on Spill at Opinionated Diva, on TikTok at The Opinionated Diva, and on YouTube at The, which is 2 E's, Opinionated Diva, where I want you to make sure that you like and subscribe and comment. Until next time, peace.